As many of you know, Nicolas Cage has been a big staple on this channel. The man is a legend. I have seen him at his ultimate best, and unfortunately at his worst. But regardless, you have to admit the man always delivers. Every project he takes, on whether it's for the paycheck or not, it always appears that he's giving it his everything. So when they announced that Nick Cage would be in a film in which he was playing himself and potentially some of his already created characters, I was ecstatic. Was that what we actually got though? Well, not quite. It's not the Quentin Tarantino-related film we thought it would originally be. What we ended up getting was one of the greatest buddy movies that I have seen in a very long time. Nick Cage plays, well, Nick Cage, a Hollywood legend who is trying to connect with his daughter, pay off some of his debts, and find the next big role, and then he's back. Not that he ever went anywhere. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Burns Reviews, and today we are talking about the unbearable weight of massive talent starring Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal, also having Neil Patrick Harris, Tiffany Haddish, and some other great cast members. And wow guys, I saw this movie 9 days ago, and I walked out with a big smile on my face, and it made me give pause because I didn't want to review it right away. I knew I had some time before it was going to come out. I knew I'd have a couple days to review it. All the reviews have been pretty positive, and I just wanted to sit and wait and make sure that with a couple days passing that it still held up as well as it does when I left. And I'm happy to say it does. Nicolas Cage plays a version of himself. It's very heightened, and much like This Is the End or some other movies where characters play heightened versions of themselves, Nicolas Cage does a pretty solid job. I thought this was going to be a little bit different because they announced this movie a couple years ago, I mean, and originally there were some connections to Quentin Tarantino. There was also some hearsay about Nicolas Cage revisiting characters that he had already played before, which is kind of true. But not really. He doesn't play them again. The closest we get to is that there's a character called Nicky that kind of represents Nicolas Cage's ego, his hubris, the ego that lives inside of him, the movie star that wants to get out and drives him to be a movie star again. It's his motivation. It's vanity. It's all of that. It's very reminiscent of Michael Keaton in Birdman, who also was a down-and-out actor who wanted... who used his inner monologue, you know, much like the Mr. Hyde to the Dr. Jekyll, kind of just taunting him constantly. But it's also one of the highlights of the movie. But Nicolas Cage, for the most part, plays himself in a very heightened way, but also in a very safe way. I think when we think of Nicolas Cage, we think of these characters that he takes from the page and heightens them to levels and directions that we don't really expect, and the outcome makes for a very unique experience and how over the top it can be. Here, Cage is doing a version of himself, and because of that, I feel like it's more reserved, it's more restrained, because he's playing himself. Versus Pedro Pascal, who is playing a fictional character and can go as crazy as he wants with it. It doesn't feel like an SNL sketch with Pedro Pascal. In fact, I think Pedro Pascal actually does upstage Nicolas Cage, because there are moments where Pedro Pascal commits to the bit so damn hard that you stop seeing Pedro Pascal and you just see a version, I guess, of us, the ultimate Nick Cage fan, the things that we probably would say to Nicolas Cage. And he just commits to it, and it's so endearing. So much of this movie is a friendship that goes on a kind of adventure together, and we've seen this since the 80s, but not really in a while. I think the most memorable buddy movie that I've seen is maybe The Good Guys, or The Other Guys, the one with Russell Crowe and The Nice Guys, Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. I feel like it's the last buddy movie I've seen in a while. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, you know, all those Lethal Weapon movies from the 80s and 90s. 48 Hours, even what was it, 21 Jump Street is kind of like that. I don't love that movie, but it has like that kind of idea. Shawshank Redemption, which is very much a drama. We don't have a lot of movies where it's just like two guys and exploring like how, you know, kind of a beautiful thing it is to have a strong friendship, you know, in a really genuine way. And this movie is so enchanting and endearing in that way. It kind of makes up for all of the flaws that it might have. The biggest flaw for me is everything outside of the two main characters. Not Neil Patrick Harris's agent, not the characters or actors that play his wife and kid. I think they're great. I think they really lend themselves to the film. The same way maybe Matthew McConaughey might do in Tropic Thunder, or something like that. But no, the characters that really kind of pulled me out of it were Tiffany Haddish and Ike Baronholtz. They seem like they're in a completely different movie and they don't even know it. Because there's this whole heightened action movie part of this movie that's just kind of rubbish. I think we can see past it because there's so much great stuff with Pedro Pascal and Nick Cage that you don't care. But whenever we kind of went to Tiffany Haddish and Ike, what's his name, it just felt like and I like their acting. I like them as actors because I've seen them and stuff. She's got that TV show where she's like a bird, and Ike is, I saw him in Neighbors. I've seen them do better, but I feel like the writing was very shoddy, very schlocky, and could have used another draft. Another, I guess, pitfall of this movie would be its third act is a little bit muddled. The first half of the movie is solid, it's meta, it's endearing, it's charming, it's great. The third act, though, kind of goes into absurdness, and I think the movie is even acknowledging this. They're writing a fake script inside the movie, and of course that fake script is kind of reflective of what's going on in the movie, and there's a whole meta thing. It's kind of circular in that way, and they make a joke about how they're going to write a movie that's going to be a buddy movie about friendship, kind of like a Shawshank type of angle. But then in the third act, we're going to have action because that's going to make it for everybody. And they know that. They're self-aware of that. But it doesn't mean it's actually sticking the landing. And that's kind of where they kind of got me a little like, what are we doing? I was like checking my watch towards the third act. I'm like, where is this going? Because there's no build up to some of it. There's like no reasoning to it. It just seems to kind of like meander. And then in the last couple minutes where it kind of all ties together, it picks up the landing perfectly. It lands, it sticks the landing. So, these are just two nitpicks. The CIA crap and the little bit of that third act is a little messy, but I still think it's a lot of fun. I think even the mildest of Nicolas Cage fans will have a lot of fun with this movie because it's just really a genuine good comedy. I can't remember the last time I saw a comedy in the theaters that I really liked. Usually comedy is kind of dead. It's on Netflix, it's on TV shows. They kind of sprinkle some lame type of quips into these superhero movies, but it's been a while since I just went to a theater for a genuine comedy, and this was it. It understood the assignment. I loved it. It's the best comedy that I've seen in years, hands down. It's absurd, and that's why I'm going to give this movie a 10 out of 10. I thought it was fantastic. Like I said, it's not Citizen Kane, it's not The Dark Knight good, it's not, movie making at its highest level, but it is a film that understood the assignment and it nails it perfectly. If you want more Nicolas Cage stuff, I have an entire playlist dedicated to Nicolas Cage right here, and in explained videos, movie reviews. It's a list that I keep growing. Feel free to comment down below, what is your favorite Nicolas Cage movie? Is there a Nicolas Cage movie you'd like to see me cover in my channel? Be sure to comment down below. I'd love to get your thoughts. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. I have been John here on Burns Reviews. You just got burned. Movies got a movie, and we will see you next time.